The tale opens up in Seattle, in which Sam, the eldest son of the Oliver-owned circle of relatives, wakes up past due with inside the morning. He lives with his mother and father as he dropped out of university due to the fact he in reality couldn't cognizance on studies. He then took up a dead-quit task on the workbench, a home restore superstore. Currently, Sam spends maximum of his time striking out and gambling video games with his buddies, Ben and Sock. Today is Sam's 21st birthday, however he doesn't sense greater or much less unique than any other day. He places on his painting's apron and heads downstairs for breakfast. He quickly notices his mother and father, who appear to be engaged in a severe communique. When they see him, they prevent speak and act uncharacteristically friendly. Mr. Oliver shakes Sam's hand while Mrs. Oliver, who appears to be at the verge of tears, hugs him tightly. Unbeknownst to Sam, the collection of weird incidents has handiest begun. All three of them head to the kitchen in which the own circle of relatives' younger son, Kevin, is having his breakfast. However, Sam's eyes are constant to the TV, in which he sees a frightening vision. The information reviews element a residence hearth place that tragically claimed the lives of own circle of relatives of four. He is jolted lower back to truth while Kevin playfully smacks the lower back of his head. Moments later, Sam heads to paintings with his pleasant pal Bert Socky. From their communicates far discovered that Sam has overwhelm on one in every of their colleagues. Andy. The buddies quickly arrive at paintings and right away be a part of a personnel meeting. As the day is going by, Sam keeps to see frightening visions of the information which simply do not exist in actual existence. This additionally impacts his paintings as he's stuck staring mindlessly on the TV at the work floor. His supervisor offers him a warning, stating that he cannot in reality cruise via existence without simply doing any paintings. Sam receives extraordinarily annoyed by all of the odd matters which can be occurring to him and comes to a decision to take a 1/2 of time off from paintings. As he drives lower back domestic in his vehicle, a person unexpectedly seems with inside the lower back seat. He introduces himself because the devil and says that he needs to speak to Sam. However, the latter is so freaked out that he crashes his vehicle onto a roadside dustbin. He fortuitously isn't harmed, however, whilst he checks the lower back seat, it seems to be empty. Confused and disoriented, Sam reaches domestic late at night time, simplest to locate his father ready for him. Sam is amazed that he's nonetheless wakeful and asks if the whole lot is okay. Mr. Oliver then drops a fact bomb at the teenager. Turns out that 22 years in the past, whilst Mr. Oliver turned into extraordinarily ill, he and his spouse had been visited by the devil. They had been given a deal. Mr. Oliver could be wholesome once more, however in exchange he could ought to put up his first kid's soul to the devil. The couple had been extraordinarily determined and agreed to this offer. This is why the devil has reappeared now, in order that the Oliver-owned circle of relatives can fulfill their stop of the deal. The following afternoon, the devil visits the Oliver family and has a conversation with Sam. He needs the teenager to paintings as his bounty hunter. Sam may be responsible for monitoring down souls who've escaped from hell and shooting them. To accomplish this, he may be given a wood container that contains something known as a vessel. When its miles placed close to an escaped soul, the vessel turns on and pulls the soul in it. Once that is done, Sam is meant to hand over the vessel to the neighborhood Department of Motor Vehicles or DMV office. That's a gateway to hell. For his first task, Sam has to capture a firefighter named Ned Schmecker, who was once an arsonist earlier than he went to hell. The devil then hands his bounty hunter a wood container earlier than vanishing into skinny air. Later, Sam opens the container in conjunction with his pals Sock and Ben. To their surprise, the vessel isn't always a few powerful antique weapon, however a easy handheld vacuum cleaner. They additionally get scary information that a domestic, some blocks far from workbench, stuck hearth place in advance that day. Own circle of relatives of four, along with children, had been killed. In this incident, Sam suddenly realizes that he had seen this whole thing in his visions. He finally begins to realize that if he doesn't do his job, several innocent people will die. That night, Sam goes to the local district attorney's office where Sock's ex-girlfriend, Jodie works. He asks her for all the information on Ned Schmecker and makes a horrifying discovery. Turns out, Ned is going about setting fire to the same places that he burned down before going to hell. His next target will be his parents' house, which has now been converted into a children's hospital. Following this, Sam and Sock steal fire protection clothes from their work and head out to track the escaped soul. They soon find him on the rooftop of the children's hospital. Ned is trying to blow out the air conditioning unit when Sock confronts him. Using this distraction, Sam pulls out the handheld vacuum cleaner and switches it on. It lets out several rays of light that bind around Ned and eventually pull him inside it. The two youngsters breathe a sigh of relief as they have just saved hundreds of children from being burnt to death. The following morning, Sam heads to the local DMV office where a receptionist seems to be waiting for him. She reveals a portal on her desk and asks Sam to put the vacuum cleaner in it. The youngster does so and the escaped soul is sent back to hell. A few days later, Sam is given yet another wooden box that contains a vessel for his next mission. However, being the lazy slacker that he is, Sam doesn't want to get right into the job. He tries to stall opening the box and get on with his day. Meanwhile, the town is experiencing strange and frequent power outages. Sam, Sock, and Ben are discussing the whole box thing when the lights go out. Suddenly, Sam switches on a torch and has a look around when he catches his reflection in the mirror. To his utter horror, his face looks like he transformed into an evil skull. The lights come back the very next second and everything goes back to normal. That night, the devil pays a visit to Sam and gives him information about the new soul he has to capture. This second soul used to be an energy salesman whose escape from hell is accompanied by electrical storms. That is why the town is experiencing sudden and frequent power outages along with strange lightning strikes. The devil also points out that every time a lightning bolt hits this town, an innocent person loses their life. Upon hearing this, the youngster finally begins to realize the severity of his work. Realizing that he cannot run away from his responsibility, Sam finally opens the wooden box with his friends. It contains a small remote-controlled monster truck and no instructions on how to use it to capture the escaped soul. Despite having no idea on how to use the vessel, Sam and his friends are quickly thrust into action. They learn from Workbench's manager that a nearby hospital has been hit by lightning and has requested 2 backup generators. Sam and his friends are tasked with taking these generators to the required destination. They quickly reach the hospital and see that it was hit by lightning twice. Sam also notices yet another bolt strike a few blocks away and quickly rushes to the spot. There, he sees the lifeless body of a man inside a car which was struck by lightning a few moments ago. A horrified Sam looks around and catches a glimpse of the hellish soul that is behind all this mess. The soul appears on top of a roof but quickly vanishes seconds later. The next day, Sam does a bit of research about the culprit and comes to know that his name is Arthur Ferrelli. He was an energy salesman who was caught selling electricity to other states illegally. Arthur died a day before he was scheduled to appear in the court for his trial. Now, he is back from hell and simply wants to kill as many people as possible. Fortunately, that very night, Sam and his friends manage to track down Arthur to a nearby hydropower project. They get decked out in rubber suits which are generally used for deep-sea diving and head towards the spot. They soon reach the project's dam and sneak behind a concrete barricade. Nearby, Arthur is trying to siphon away all the power being generated in the project. Sam takes out the vessel which is in the form of a remote-controlled toy monster truck and rolls it quietly towards the hellish soul. The toy truck only travels a few feet away before a van runs over it, completely shattering it. Arthur then notices Sam lurking nearby and flees away. Unfortunately, Sam and his friends now go from being the hunters to the hunted. That night when they are planning their next move at the workbench, Arthur begins to control the store's electrical appliances. The vessel is also damaged and the youngsters are now facing an onslaught from various machines. Sam, realizing that his friends are in danger, walks out to the store's parking lot and challenges Arthur to a duel. Rather foolishly, Arthur shows up and begins to rant about how this town treated him badly. Sam quickly whips out the remote for the toy truck and captures Arthur while he is busy ranting. After completing his second task, Sam hopes to have a slightly less workload. But his wishes are dashed out of the window when he wakes up one morning and strange things begin to happen. Everything that he puts in his mouth, from toothpaste to food, turns into a bug. He is so hungry that he tells Sock to feed him later at work. Shortly afterwards, the devil pays a visit to Sam at work and gives him a brief presentation on his next mission. He shows the youngster several photos of local women who have died in the past 2 months after a mysterious bug bit them. Sam asks for more information, but the devil gives him a vague reply and tells him to simply follow the bugs. The devil then leaves behind a wooden box containing the vessel before vanishing into thin air. But Sam doesn't have to wait too long to find out more about his next mission. He and his friends are out on lunch when they see a van from a pest control company. The van has a giant rubber bug on its roof for advertisement. Sam suddenly remembers that the devil had told him to follow the bugs. So, he along with Sock and Ben start following the pest control van. It stops a few blocks down the road near an apartment complex, and a man gets out of the vehicle. The three friends watch in horror as a swarm of strange bugs attacks the man and brutally kills him. Ben then deduces that the escaped soul must have been in the apartment complex that the pest control guy was heading to. Back at the workbench cafeteria, Andy has lunch with the guy that she met last night. Sam is returning back when he sees her happily chatting away with the new guy. He approaches them and overhears the guy tell Andy that she should quit her job and pursue her education full-time. Meanwhile, Sock reveals he had stolen all the letters from the apartment complex's mailbox when they were following the pest control van earlier. He and Ben check through these letters and find a rather suspicious man named Harold Bunsen, who moved there only 2 months ago. They need his criminal history before they can be sure if he is the soul who escaped hell. Sock, whose ex-girlfriend Geordie works in the local district attorney's office, comes up with a brilliant but risky plan. Following this, Sam sneaks into Geordie's office while Sock keeps her distracted outside. They manage to print out necessary information about Bunsen and quickly head out. Turns out Bunsen was arrested several years ago for the murder of his wife. He had thrown her body into a heap of compost fertilizer where it was devoured slowly by bugs. The friends then check out the wooden box and are gobsmacked to see that the new vessel is a toaster. Nonetheless, they quickly head back to the apartment complex with the toaster and extra cable. Ben and Sock find an outlet for the cable while Sam spies on Bunsen's apartment. Sam comes across a horrifying sight. Bunsen seems to be casually eating his breakfast while a bunch of murderous bugs swarm near him. Soon, Sock and Ben, who have short-circuited the toaster, also join Sam and see the disturbing view. The trio stare mindlessly when suddenly Bunsen notices their presence. He orders the bugs to attack the youngsters, but they manage to get away. Back at work, things go from bad to worse for Sam. Andy reveals that she has decided to leave workbench to pursue her education. As if things weren't already messy enough, Sam is visited by Bunsen the next afternoon. He reveals that it wasn't him who killed his wife, the pest control guy, or the three ladies. Instead, it was his ex-girlfriend Gloria who came back from the dead recently. Bunsen warns Sam to stay away as Gloria sees everything and is present everywhere, all the time. The camera then pans nearby and we see the swarm of bugs transform into a beautiful young woman who is intently looking at Sam. The next day, Sam and his friends head to Bunsen's apartment, decked out with pest control equipment. Sam and Ben head inside the apartment while Sock goes to the storage room to find a socket for the toaster's plug. In a shocking twist, Gloria is also in the storage room and she quickly abducts Sock as a hostage. On the other hand, Sam and Sock do not find any bugs in Bunsen's apartment. They then decide to head back and go to the storage room to pick up their friend. There, they see Gloria holding Sock as a hostage. She tells them to leave or else she will pierce Sock's throat using her swarm of bugs from hell. Right then, Bunsen also arrives in the storage room with some groceries. He begins talking to his ex-girlfriend and she pushes Sock away. This gives Sam enough time to plug in the toaster and chucks it towards Gloria. Sensing danger, Gloria begins to transform into a swarm of bugs, but she is quickly captured inside the toaster. After fulfilling his duties, Sam hurries back to work and finds Andy, fully prepared to confess his love. However, she reveals that her classes have been cancelled for the semester. Their college building was reported to be filled with asbestos and it will take several months to clean it. So, Andy will not leave work, at least, for the next 6 months. An extremely relieved Sam sees the devil casually sitting nearby, eavesdropping to their conversation. Everything is back to normal for a few days until weird things start happening once more. Things start mysteriously vanishing right from Sam's hand. He loses the car keys just as he is about to open his car's doors. He is forced to take a taxi to work, and when he is about to pay the fare, his wallet disappears out of his hand. All these things start appearing in weird plates